Hello, good evening. Welcome to the soldering part of part 5 of the Erica Synths educational DIY learn as you go, build along, modular Eurorack, build-a-thon thing. If you were with us last night, well done for getting through all of that. it was it was hard. It was challenging. We got to some awesome places. I've still got the breadboard sitting here all made up. We got to some awesome places with LEDs lighting up in a circle. We got potentiometers down here where we could tune in individual notes. That was quite exciting. We did try to get the gate thing to work, but we couldn't seem to pull it off in the end. Not sure exactly where the problem lied. Probably because it was really late and I was kind of done in by that point, and I'm trying to fiddle around with this breadboard business, trying to make sure everything's in the right place. Now you'll be very pleased to hear, if you've been following this, that I've bought some patch wires which are smaller. Bought a box of them. Well, at least I think I have. Hopefully they'll turn up tomorrow. And that will mean that next time we do this, it won't be quite so much of a forest of wires. And hopefully it will calm down a little bit to give us a bit better access to what's going on. Hopefully that will help. So you'll be delighted to hear that I've done that, no doubt. But otherwise, I did hope that I might be able to have a fiddle with it today, but things are already getting really busy with Superbooth next week. Lots of stuff I've got to cover and do before next week, so it's just not been possible. I'm not going to take this any further. We're going to take our experience from yesterday and the things that we learnt, and just going to plow on with the soldering of the board, the testing of it, and seeing whether it runs in the kit. That's the plan. Now, there's one thing I did want to say actually, because this is something I felt yesterday. I got a bit frustrated in places with both the kit and the manual and my own depth or shallowness of understanding. And reflecting on it today, what I would say is that within the manuals, there's a lot of great detail on the individual components. So when I was looking at the op amps going, well, I don't know what the pin arrangement is, and I don't know which is the ins and the outs, and why are we doing that bit, and other bits on the feedback loops in op amps and why they work or why they don't, because Moritz hasn't explained it every single time in the course of the manual. He's put in an entire appendix explaining each of those bits individually. And something that I need to do is to spend a bit of time in there reading and absorbing and putting more work into that side of things before building the project. At least, because there's a slight difficulty in that, because we're doing this once a month pretty much, is that I'm not always retaining all of the information that I learned last month and bringing it into the next one. And so I need to mitigate that with a little bit of reading and research on my own time. So I'm going to endeavour to try to do that, and I'd highly recommend that you do too. So you're not left scratching your head going, how does a voltage divider work again? That kind of thing, which is what I found yesterday. I was having a little bit of trouble just wrapping my head around some of the concepts. And that's not helpful. So the answer to that is read a bit more, spend a bit more time with the subject matter. Now, I don't want to overdo it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the purpose of these videos, or one of the purposes, is to go in a little bit blind, because you can't expect a beginner who's entering into this world to do everything right. You can't expect them to have a degree in engineering or to know anything about electronics, or to spend a lot of time reading through the manual. You kind of want to get stuck in, and the manual allows for that. The documentation is good enough to pull you in with very little knowledge or understanding of what's going on. It's excellent work. And so that's what I'm trying to replicate in what I'm doing. So I don't want to over prepare, because I'm not trying to teach you how to do this. I'm trying to learn through the process and share that learning. Does that make sense? That's the sort of the vibe I'm coming at this with, or from. I don't know. So well, yeah, so stuff all of this business. I'm just going to put it all out and we'll get into the soldering itself and see if we can identify what we're doing as we go and just see where we get to. Because soldering is the best thing, really. I thoroughly enjoy just the process of putting these things together, let alone anything else. But otherwise, how have you been? Have you been all right? The Oberheim leaked today. That was flipping exciting. Well, you know, depending on who you are, I suppose. A £5,000 synthesizer from Oberheim. Is that the sort of thing we're going to get excited about? Or is it's the sort of thing that suddenly makes a Prophet 10 look cheap and attainable? Think, oh, blimey, how likely is that? You know, there's this, there is this feeling around the internet that, oh, you know, synthesizers are just for the elite, man. They're just for the wealthy. Yeah, I think they are often. Yeah, they are. Yeah. But, you know, some people spend their money on cars, on boats, on gym membership. You know, if you were to give up your Netflix subscription and buy more value food, then you could afford synthesizers also. Don't forget that. So why don't I leave those in there, because that's a handy holding place for those bits and pieces. It might even remind me as to what they are. Could do. Could do. The other reason I didn't have any time to work on this today is because something turned up unexpectedly, uninvited, but has blown my mind. And so I had to spend a little bit of time with that, and I need to make a very hurried video on it tomorrow because it's being released tomorrow. So that's exciting. Always exciting things going on. So super. Yeah, Neil. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And the other question for you this evening, I mean, this isn't a general chat live stream, but hey, it's on my head, right? I finally pulled the magneto out of my performance rack because I don't use it. Or when I do use it, I don't know why I'm using it. And when I don't know why I'm using it, I don't know what it's doing. Is it doing anything? But I get that a lot, unfortunately. Anyway, so I've taken it out. Which suddenly left me with a large hole that I was able to put some interesting things in. So that was cool. But if anybody has any alternatives to the magneto, by which I mean something which can do either interesting looping or interesting delays, that's not that big, you know, so I can put a bit more in. Maybe I just want a regular delay. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's all I've been after all this time. I know that there's awesomeness in there somewhere. I just can't seem to find it. Or at least it does do awesome things from time to time. I just don't know how to make that happen the next time. It's like there was this one time I did this live performance, right? And I had this lovely woman singing, and I was able to loop her voice so she could then do harmonies over the top of herself. Awesome, using magneto. Fantastic. I've never been able to do that since. I was trying to do it the other day, and the delay time was like 2 minutes. And like I'd finished and was gone off to do something else, and then it all came back in again. It's like, oh. Yeah, Ken, you're right. The disting, that's the flipping answer. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Let's get into a little bit of soldering. Let's turn my soldering iron on. That's a good start. What do I need? Do I need those? No, I don't think so. Is that there? Hopefully not, anyway. I might need my solder sucker and those blue-handled ones. There we go. Those bits, those bits. Oh, safety goggles, I'll do that in a minute. Right, so before we start, it says we're looking at the module assembly appendix for the Erica Synths EDU DIY sequencer. The manual is available on the Erica Synths shop, where the sequencer is, where you can buy one. And we're on page 50. And what it's suggesting is that we look at the schematic. Now, so we look at the schematic and see whether that's the sort of thing we're going to be able to spot anything. Yeah. So that's this one, I think. Yeah, there we go. So good. So there's a bit of faff we have to do here because I have to turn it round the right way, and for some reason I can only go the wrong way first. Right. Well, what can we see? We can see lots of fives of things. So we've got our step LEDs here. Let me use the mouse so you can see the mouse pointer. Step LEDs here. They all go to transistors. Now we did have just 100k resistors on the breadboard, but the transistors will do a better job of something or other I can't quite remember. Maybe restricting current flow, something like that, just to keep that under control, but it works better apparently with transistors, so those are in there. Then we've got the gate switches, 5 here, which is the bit I didn't quite get to work, but never mind. And that goes through a bit of a rigmarole here, go into the gate output, because you need to combine the gate outs, and you can't just add them up. You have to tie it to, did we have to tie it to the clock? Is that what that long line there is doing? Possibly. Tie it to the clock in order to get the gate to close, otherwise it will always be open. So this appears to be the clock here. So you've got a rate knob, so that makes sense that this comes in. You've also got a clock in there which breaks the connection, so you don't have your own internal clock, you take in an external clock, and that's barreling into this triangle business here, which supplies the clock to the gate. Good, and also gives us a clock out. Well, that was pretty awesome. See, I had remembered something from last night. Then down here we have all of these pots, all of these potentiometers that are creating the actual steps, and they are then combined through something, because they all have to come together as well, but of course each one happens individually, and they come out of the CV out over here. Now there's a bit that we didn't do, which is the CV range, which sits here, which I think sort of calms it down. Does it? Is that an actual thing? Yes, it is. There is a CV range here, so it's not quite such a wide thing. Now I'm a great fan of quantizers, I have to say, so that's going to be interesting because there isn't one. Quantizer. I want to. There's one in the disting, isn't there, Ken? Because I kind of want. Quantizers tend to be a little bit big when I really need them just to be a very basic something or other. I kind of want a 2 HP quantizer, but one that's got buttons on for every note. Anyway, you know, I'm going to have to start my own module company. That's all there is to it. I've now got so many ideas and so many needs for actual modules that I need to start fabricating my own. That's the only way. And of course, I've learned how to do that now. So I'm an expert in these sorts of things. So that's awesome. Over here, I don't know what that is. Oh no, this must be the counter. Yeah, the 4017. Right, so this is the thing that does the counting. Possibly 1 to 10, but we only do 1 to 5 because we then stick something in the reset to reset it back. So it only does the 5 steps, but it could quite possibly do 10 steps, and you could wire that in if possibly. There's more on the back. What? More on the back of what? What are you talking about? So there you go. So that, I think, was quite successfully navigated. There's a nice lot of description there, a whole page worth of stuff telling you all about the bits that are there. We're going to see how we go. I know that there was a change from a 2K to a 6K8, so you're going to have to look out for that. But let's see what the board says. So we are to the point where we actually start adding stuff to the PCB. So usually start with the lower horizontally placed components. So switching diodes, 10 ohm resistors, and the power protection diodes. Bend the resistor leads and insert them, blah 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 blah. If you're not sure, check with a multimeter. Going to have to do a lot of that, I think. Orientation is critical on the diodes. So essentially, I think most of the resistors in this one are all vertical, so sticking up off the board, other than the 10 ohm ones. So that's interesting. So they're trying to pack quite a bit in here. But no time like the present. Okay, soldering iron's on. Put my little fan on here. It blows things off the table for me. Yeah, the Penrose quantizer is a good choice. I mean, that's a DIY project as well. I'm still learning. I mean, this is well, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. In that, I wish I was able to go through my rack properly and spend time on each individual module and really get to grips with it. You know, that would be brilliant. I'm kind of in this washing machine of stuff and gear and videos and obligations and day job and all that kind of thing, which makes that slightly difficult. And I have to choose what it is I'm going to focus on, which means that other things get left behind. And I have a couple of wonderful quantizers that I just need to get deeper into, I think. What am I talking about? I don't know. I just feel like we need to share, man. I feel like this could be. We need to have a hug, at a little session. But instead of that, what I'll do is I'll do some soldering. Yes, I do have the tenderfoot quantizer. In fact, I plugged that in again today because it's been sort of on the bench for a while. And I remember when I first got it, I thought, this is brilliant. This is the answer. And then I kind of put it to one side for other reasons, and forgotten how it does its thing. But I've got it plugged in at the moment, because I've got this fantastic patch set up over there that is awesome, that I want to do a video on for this thing that turned up today, and is using that, funnily enough. I put it in the hole where the magneto was. See, perfect, awesome. Yeah, disting, yeah. Right, okay, good. Right, so I will need a number of things. I will need my safety specs for all you kids out there. I'll need my magnifiers to get things running about. I'll need to swap this to the overhead camera so that you can see what's going on. About there. Yeah, you see that all right? Mark, have you been drinking, son? Right. What am I doing? So yeah, look at the board. That would be a good thing. Let's have a look at the board. So again, I don't quite have this right for some reason. I just got it too high up. That's better. So looking at the board. So all those diodes, diode, they're all the same, aren't they? Except for the two big fat ones, which are in fact that one. They're usually close to each other. Maybe not. That one and that one. Okay, otherwise they're small. The rest, I've got these 10 ohm. What's it? Okay, good. So, which of these were 10 ohms? Anyone remember? Because they would have been used, wouldn't they? There's a few spares. Are these 10 ohm? 1, 2. 1, 2. So I wouldn't have used these if they were connected to those fatter diodes. That is the only resistors. Alright, well I'm not going to risk it, I'm just going to test it one more time. That's it, put it on the leg of each one individually. Perfect. 10 ohm, okay, good. So those are my 10 ohms. So, all we do, ladies and gentlemen, is we stick them in. So there's a 10, says so on the board. Stick them in there. Bend the legs out a little bit. Put the other one in. Bend that out a little bit. Then we're going to go hard in on all these little diodes. These ones here, little orange ones. So these are the 1N4148s. There's a lot of these. So I can start at the top. All you've got to do is make sure that the line on the diode matches the line on the PCB. See that? Yeah, so that's very, very important, otherwise the whole thing doesn't work. The point of a diode is that it only lets current flow one direction. That's its whole entire purpose. So one in there. Now this one goes the other way around. Facing down. Facing up. Diode, thank you. This one facing down. This one facing up. This one facing up. Another one facing up down here. I don't know if it's very helpful me saying that. Don't know necessarily which one I am currently putting in. Another one here. One in the middle, facing left. Another one facing left. And again. See, I appreciate these all being in a row like this. See, that makes me think that they're together for some reason. Except there's only 4. I'd like there to be 5, then it would be perfect. But not. And then there's 1, 2, 3 that way. Am I out? Oh no, I've got some more on the strip. So the top here, there's one pointing up. pointing up. One pointing down. I think that's a lot. I'll put in the fatter ones in a minute. I'm just going to do all this lot because there's plenty on there, I think, to be getting on with. Let's move that out of the way so I don't do anything bad to it. Doing bad things is not good. Let's not do bad things. Got a bit of solder. Then all I do is I push the iron up onto the pad and onto the leg, give it a bit of solder, take it off. If it's a bit rocking on your table, then just put a finger down. Does that one work out? That looked a bit weird to me. No, that's fine. Plug it in there, give it a second, apply some solder, let it come off. La-di-da-di-da. Ones will get in the way, like my hair's probably in the way of the camera. Now what you should probably do is develop some kind of system in the way that you attack these. I tend to attack them completely randomly, but in a general sense going from one side to the other. It's always interesting. Is it? Why are we here? Is it interesting? I don't know. I mean, it's always, I find it quite interesting that, come on, these twisted up on each other. The tiny variations in how you place the soldering iron can make a lot of difference in how quick something heats up and then how quick it takes the solder. Sometimes you put something down in exactly the same way you think and it just won't melt. Well, I'm sure electrical engineers sit around mulling over these things on a daily basis, and it's the cause of many great conferences and debates in the world of soldering. In the angle of best heat transference. Oh no, that just went all on the iron. Never mind. I could of course wipe all the gunk off my soldering iron, but I'm just on a bit of a roll, so I am going with it. I don't really want to bend legs too flat, because then it's harder to heat it up evenly, and you have this difficulty of potentially bridging across to another leg that it's twisted up against. Am I done? See, the great thing about doing it in a haphazard way is that finishing is always a nice surprise. You know, people who do things in an ordered manner are never surprised by anything. That doesn't seem right. That seems like a wasted life. Don't waste your life being ordered. Right, I think that's good. Yep. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Look at that. What a lovely thing. Okay, so am I going a bit too far? Where do I need to be? More like there. A little bit to the side. Okay. So let's take all these legs off with a pair of pliers. I do try to prevent them flying about now because I keep finding them in my feet. Like that one, down it. Okay. Oh, there's always one, isn't there? Put those in my magic pot where I grow components. You've ordered a cat, Ken. Where have you ordered a cat from? Great, that's so great. Diodes are so pretty. Right, good. Oh, the two big fat ones, that's what I need to do. Here we are. These big ones, usually something to do with power regulation. They go in alongside those 10 ohm resistors. Still same deal though, except these are the colour reversed, so it's the grey end which is the line, and these are 1N 5819s, big thick legs which take a little bit longer to heat up. This one down here goes the opposite way round. Let's get those out of the way. Oh, you can't be ordered. Hey, Ellie. Thanks, mate. You're welcome. We haven't seen nothing yet. Right, so does this look a bit like the image on there? One there, one there, one's there, two there, two there, one there, one there, and two there. That's four. Yeah, it does. Good. Right, good. Right, next. Right, dip sockets. Then the ceramic capacitors. Okay, good, yeah. So I've got 2 dip sockets. Big one, small one, or slightly bigger one. So you need to be aware that this little semicircle here, this nick, matches the one on the IC holder. So that's all orientated around the right way. Obviously the IC holder doesn't care which way round it is, but it's just a way to follow that through so that you put the chip in the right way around. So if you do solder these in backwards, it doesn't actually matter, provided that you get the chip in the right way. Bit of wisdom for you there. So I'm going to use my magic light filter, is what this is, piece of plastic, just to turn that over so that those are flat. And I'm going to want something under here. Oh, perfect. Just to keep it good. And then what I usually do is solder a corner, each corner, and just make sure that it's flat. So you can see it coming through. If you put a bit of pressure on with your finger, just to make sure that that's coming all the way through, you can then magically solder a corner on that one. Solder a corner on that one. Just give it a moment to set, and then you can turn it over and go, yeah, good. It's all pretty flat. That's all going to work. Good. Do the rest. I start usually with the opposite corner. Just make sure that it's still flat, and then you're pretty certain that that's now going to be right, and you can be a little less careful for the rest. Come on, sort yourself out. Super. Hey, Mr. Wath, how you doing? Right way around. Those are in. Good. So ceramic little 104s, I'm assuming. Yeah. Is that what we're talking about? The 0.1 microfarads. 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. They should be 104, 104, 104. 104, that's a bigger one. 104. So these little buddy ones here are all the 0.1 microfarads. They're not, what's the word? They're not electrolytic, which means they're not charged. No, that's not the right word. They're not positive, and they don't care which way round they are. Someone in the chat will tell us exactly what that word is that I'm looking for. Boop, 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 boop. No, that's different, that one. That's 1 nanofarad. So let's go stick with our 0.1 microfarads. Nano and micro, I mean, how are they related to each other? 0.1 microfarad. So I have left C2 which I believe is what? It's the 102. That's the 102. So for this one here, has he put this one in? No, he hasn't. Okay, so we're just putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 here. That's the plan. So these are all the 104 capacitors. We do have another one, which is a 102, which is slightly different, which is probably that one there. I will check. I seem to get 2 of these in my pack. Polarized. That's the word I'm looking for. Polarized. Okay. Whack these in then. Ooh, that's going all the way up the leg. Go on the pad, you fool. Lovely. It's nice and wonky, that one. Good. Now, in order to save space, we've put some vertically placed resistors. Yeah. Yep, cool. So we need to put the rest of them, and it should all look like that. Right. So these are a bit harder to spot, but let's see what we can do. There's a whole bunch up here. 100k, 100k, 6.8k. Ah, and there's the square capacitor. I was a little bit worried about that. So these are all 100k's here, I seem to recall. So I can take them, give them a little bend, sit that there. R8. Trying to get them to sit relatively flat on their little bits. Okay. That's a little tricky at the top there. I guess these are referring to this, but I'm not really sure. I'll look at that in a minute. Let's look elsewhere. We'll come back to that. So that's R21 here is 100k. R23. R24, that way around. Are these also 100k? Let me go back to my, back up here a little bit to one of these. So, oh no, I've got this all wrong. Got this all completely wrong. Why is nobody pointing this out to me? Huh? So, no, yeah, but no, they were 100k. Then what are that? What's that then? Those are 100k. I was using these blue ones. So what have I been using? What are these? They're 1k. So I used the completely wrong resistor that whole time. Although, go back a step before they did that, before they put the transistors in. Oh no, they were 1k, so they were all 1k. So I've put all, what I've done is I've put 1k resistors, which are these ones, into the 100k slots. So that's a bit rubbish. So let's not do that, hey. So take all those out. Alright, what a plank. Dipstick. So I mean, my logic was sound, and that's what they should have been, that's what they ended up being. Right, back to here, rewind. I hope no one soldered that at home. So for the 100k, my ones are these brown fellas, these ones here, and these ones dotted around here, which I used a lot. 100k, 100k, that's 100k, that's 100k, that's 100k. So all of these, that's what I need to be using. So let's just go back and do that again. 6k8. Yeah. We're finding that. That's that 2k one over there is a 6k8. Because that makes complete sense, doesn't it, Ken? No, you see, I didn't actually check because I was so confident that they were 100k's because they sat there with the LEDs that I thought to myself, I don't even need to check it. Don't even need to check it. That's what I said. So I didn't. And it tripped me up almost immediately. I mean, ultimately I would have run out of them, so I wouldn't have had enough to do what I was trying to do, so that would have told me as well at some point. But it's always a good idea to check your resistors, again. So there we are. There's 100. What colour are the ones that he's doing? Because that's another point of order. What page is it? 50 something? Here we go. Yeah, his are all brightly coloured, whereas mine are brown. It's just to do with either the age of or tolerance around. Yeah, and this bit here, this bit here. Okay. So my one are brown. The one in there are kind of greeny, which very much look like me 1Ks. Very much do. But you can't rely on the colour of the resistor itself, the colour of the body of the resistor, to tell you anything. So there were two 100Ks there. This bit I'm still confused about. There's 100K there. In some ways it's why it's good to put all of the resistors in before you solder them, rather than doing them in little batches. I mean, assuming it's not too many of them, because that way it's like putting a puzzle together, and you'll find that, oh, either I don't have that resistor, or I've got too many of one or not enough of another, which will give you a clue as to whether you're actually using the right stuff or not. So what do I need to do with all these? I need to bend them all over in a way like that. Oh, smooth. Smooth that was. Ugh. Okay. So there's 100K in there. So R14. Yeah, that didn't really achieve much, did it? Don't see Quintus having this sort of trouble, do you? Certainly not. One Ks, 100K R25. KR26. R27, 100K. R15, 100K. So on other kits you'd just be looking for the number, you'd be reading a list of numbers that tells you what each one is, and then you'd be finding that on the board and placing it. With these kits, the number is kind of irrelevant because it's got the actual value is written on the PCB, which in some ways is better, although you don't know all the time whether you've got them all. Okay, so I've got what, 2 left? 3 left. One K. Now up here on this section, I think that's R18, and I think that's 19 and 20 there. Just going to check that those are the same. Yeah, so the green ones, which his are 100k, like these two here on the left, those are reflected in those three along the top. So that one there is R18. This one here is R19. And this last one is R20. Cool, so that's all me hundreds. I think I will solder all these fellas in. I think I will. Nice and wobbly. Lovely. I'll give it a go. Yeah, no, it's good. It's nice to do it neatly. I appreciate that. I mean, when I've been building the Deckard's Dream, when I'm soldering like 4,000 resistors, you know, I do things like make sure they're all the same way up and definitely sitting nicely, because you just end up with these beautiful voice boards. And yeah, no, I can see the value of doing it properly, but at the moment on this, speed is a factor. So I'm just going sort of rough and ready, really. In some ways I just marvel at the way solder works, more than marvelling at my own workmanship, honestly. That's okay. Oops. It's been a lovely day outside today. Had the guinea pigs out and everything. I've even got the door of the shed open and we can't hear the cockerel. You saw my Turing machine one? Yeah, well, that was really exciting. You know, really exciting. Yeah, and I guess I have come a long way. Purely just through doing. You know, I mean, much of what this series is about is trying to learn more than just the, you know, soldering. Because I've learned how to solder now, pretty much, and I can do that. I could put together anything. But it doesn't actually matter what it is. You know, I could be building a refrigerator as I'm just following the instructions and doing what it says. And that's great to a degree. If you enjoy doing the soldering, which I do, then that's nice. And the fact that it's a synthesizer in the end of the day is glorious as far as I'm concerned, but takes nothing away from the pleasure of the actual building the circuit. And so what this is about is trying to actually learn what the circuits do. Try to get that side of it, because I'm no more clued up than I was when I built the Turing machine. You know, I'm still just putting things together like a puzzle. Right, look at those glorious things. I always think these upright ones just look weird. They look like I'm making some kind of board for an old television set. Right, yeah, more resistors then. So these ones I decided were 1K. But I need to be a little bit more cautious now. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to get my my what's it out, just to make sure. There ought to be some kind of testing tool that I just jam this into, shouldn't there? I think there probably is. But let's not worry just now. So this is flipping jaws. Yeah, those are all 1K. So let's put those in. Oh, all the best of that then, Alan. It is. I mean, it's a challenge because there's a lot going on. It's not the simplest thing in the world, but I really felt that it was simple enough to give us a real sense of satisfaction, and I was dead right. It's a really good thing, and the instructions are impeccable. That's the other thing, you know, faultless. Tom and his there's a 1K, and his instruction ability to explain things and the detail and the photos, just superb. So definitely do it. I mean, even Milo Melodies has given it a go. Even. And he would not consider himself a technical person. Very much more on the creative side. And now he's all over it. He's all over the Turing machine now. 1K, 1K, there's a 1K here. Okay, got a couple more. So, are these ones 1K? Are these 1K? No, those are individuals. What's this? This is a 1K. Yep, so is that. So is that. Brown, brown, black, black. That is not. That is not. Okay, I've got 3 more here then. I will go with 1K, 1K. There's a 1K down here next to that. Diode is a little bit over to the side. It's just going to have to be alright, I think. Okay. Where am I? This one, 1K. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. 1K there. pop those in. Looks all right. Good. Coming along. Right, so what have I got left? I've got an 18, a mystery, one of the 47s, this one down here which I think is a 6K8. I think I might need to do these just one at a time, check them out as I go. $68K. $68. 6.8. $68K 33. That's a test point. Must be this one. Okay. Next one. Page 53 helps, does it? Oh, okay, because that's the printout I was supposed to print it out. Yeah, it's not too hard on here. It would just mean looking at a piece of paper and then looking at the thing. 6.8K. And in some ways that's a whole extra step, particularly with me glasses on. So there's the 6.8 which goes at the top here somewhere. Yeah. 50k. Alright, I got 51. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was probably it. So I'll stick it in there for now. 51k. .7. I think it's at the top here somewhere. No, it's 47. 4.7 is 39. Wrong way around. Three to go. This one does not. Oh, this should be the 18, but I'm going to test it anyway. $18k. It's looking very colourful. 18k is 36. Hang on. I've got a 36, I've got a 37. Oh no, that's the trimmer. Okay. It's 18k there. This one says it's ineligible. This is sometimes the longest bit of the whole thing. .2k, so 200 ohm then. There. And finally, $47k. No ferret beads as far as I know, Ken. There was a mention of it earlier, but he tends to put in a resistor instead. 47k up here. Now that, I believe, is all of the resistors placed. Yeah, let's get soldering. Let's get soldering! What am I doing? Oh, goodness me. Okay, and down here. Good. Good enough, I think. Right, so that's all of those placed. Just check it out against the picture. While mine are different colours, he doesn't have that one. Oh no, he does. It's just slightly moved. So the finished PCB isn't identical. That's okay. So there's something over here which is different. There's a new transistor or a moved transistor, so it seems. Okay, let's not worry about it. Next up, setting and soldering the transistors. Okay, make sure you align them. Orientation is critical here. Orientation is not difficult with transistors because you've got this sort of D shape that they all are. Now I've got, I think, 5 of one and 1 of another. I think that's right. Well, I've got, well, at least I've got 5. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So one of them is different. So I'll find that one. These are the same. 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 Different. So that's the different one. I'll just stick that over there for now. So these ones here are called 3904. Now all of them have slightly annoying, you have to stick the middle leg forward a little bit. Now, are these labelled? Yeah, 3904, 3904. So that's what you're looking for. For the 5 of them, 3904 on the board there. Make sure it goes the right way around, or the whole thing is for naught. Go on, legs. They should make one of the legs just slightly longer. Just come on, come on. Those two back a little bit. That's it. That one forward. Still doesn't want to go. Go on, my son. That's it. So just make sure that the flat edge of it and the flat edge on the PCB screen print is the same, and then push it in. Don't really need to bend the legs too much underneath because they tend to grip really well. Then take the next one, poke that middle leg out a little bit, down here, 3904, flat bit to flat bit. Yeah. Next one, poke that leg through a little bit. This one, 3904. Another one. Down here. Oop, poking them out, 3904. Facing the other way. Good. One more. $3904 down here at the bottom. Said that about not having to bend the legs, and then they're all hanging out, so I'll just bend one of them a little bit. Then this last one is the BC548, and that goes over here. This is the bit that's actually missing off his board, off his picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got the 5 on there, so we have an additional one that's not mentioned in the build guide here, and this goes down here, right there. And I would tell you all about it, but I've got to keep that a secret. Good. Stick those in. Such tiny pads. It can be hard to get your soldering iron in. I'm sure some people have different soldering iron ends, tips. But I think I got some through at some point. But honestly, I don't actually know how to change the tip on the soldering iron. So, you know, there's that. And whatever it is that this came with seems sufficient. So I'm not going to go to the trouble. I've done a lot of soldering with this thing now. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Am I not there yet? Am I there yet? Okay, now this one. Goody good. good. How are we doing? Wow, it's nearly 9 o'clock. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? Whew. It doesn't feel like it. That's the thing with soldering. It really does absorb time. And you're not even having to think too hard. I mean, that's kind of why I like it, I think. It's because, you know, it's just a process. It's like archery. It's something of that sort of nature, where you're repeating something over and over again and just enjoying that. So electrolytic capacitors. Are these particularly tall? Are these going to get in the way? So I've still got to put this fella on. Now they're about the same height, and also the power thing. Power thing I think is actually a little bit lower, so I think nobody minds. I will put the power on now. So with the power thing, you've got this nick out of the corner. That refers, I think, to the key on the plastic bit. So that should go in there. But darn it, I have a resistor in the way because I didn't pull it quite flush enough. So I'm going to use a pair of pliers just to squeeze that a little bit. Oh, that was easy. No bother. No bother. So that this can go that way up in there. -12. Just check with my cable. So that will go in this way round. The red stripe, which is hardly visible on this particular cable, is there, which goes to -12, which is correct. So yeah, it goes that way round. Well, there's the trims as well, I mustn't forget about. Okay. Because the trims are also quite small. In fact, they're very small. Let's put the trims in. Now, which way up with these? I've got one that says 2K5. I've got one that says 472. And they're supposed to be 5K and 2K. And we had a conversation about this yesterday. So a picture of them on. They're both the same on the picture. Rats. How do I know what that is? There's no other writing on it. Let me just Google it, just in case. 472 trimmer. You just never know, it might come up. Brawn. Oh look, it's a blue one. No, that's not right. That's not that sort of trimmer. But 4.2, it says a 472 is a 4.7 kilo ohm rotary trimmer. Let's have a look. 472. No, that's for trimming bits of paper. Flipping Nora. Rotary trimmer from on office. No, it's not that. It's those sorts of things. Yeah, yeah. So what is that? Trimmer potentiometer. 472, 4.7 kilo ohm. Right. So is there anything on this which is going to tell me anything? Oh yeah, 2K5, obviously. So what is that? If I was to put in a 2K5 trimmer, what would that tell me? So it's telling me that this is 4.7 and it's supposed to be 5. So if I put in a 2K5, it's going to give me exactly the same idea. than it is just a 2K5. So, I mean, I think from what these, I mean, I just like things to be right, you know. I hate it when I have to just make decisions based on assumptions. So I'm going to assume that the 2K5 one is the 2K, and that the 472 one is the 5K. Any disagreement there in the cheap seats? So this is the 472, so that's going to be this one. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, that only goes in that far. Oh, those are quite tall then. And this one, 2K. That goes in a bit nicer. I just don't even think that's remotely the right one. And that's going to fall out if I turn it over. So what I might do, I've got a couple of bits of this. I might be daring. Ken concurs. A concurring Ken is a good Ken. I might do a little bit of soldering from the top. Dun, 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 as my daughter would say. So I'm just going to attempt to squirrel that in there. And this one in there. Without melting it. Oh, I've got the solder stuck. Oh, I think I got away with it. So I'll turn it over and do it now. Good. Let's put my power switch in then. I might just try to turn it upside down like that. Is that sitting at that end now? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Push down nice and hard. Oh, don't touch the iron. Super duper. Good, that's the right way round. Lovely. So electrolytic capacitors. I have two of those and this ceramic one. So long leg positive, short leg negative. These are polarized is the word we're after. And they go into these nice big bits here. That stripe there is the negative. That square pad is the positive. That goes in just like that. One down here, opposite way round. Easy peasy. This ceramic thing goes, I think, over here in that blocky place. And we've still got the spare one here. Now he's filled that in with something, which I think is going to be this 102. And I just wanted to check back, didn't I? So let me do that. Back to the bill of materials at the top. 102 is the 1 nanofarad, one of, although I had 2 as I say, and this is 102. That is the answer. It's back down here somewhere. Oh, not quite that far yet. Just finishing off here. So this goes in this magic middle bit, C2. So that's going to want to fall out. No, that's alright. That's going to be fine. I don't care how wobbly it is. See, what would be awesome at this point was if somebody was to walk in with a cup of coffee. Good. Well, I'm not going to say we're motoring through this because we are not, but we have made solid progress. I've got a board that looks like it's really nice and boardy. Yeah, so much so, look, might even insta it. Oh no, I can do. What we're doing? So yeah, just pause for a second. What's the most Instagrammy way through it? And remember, you can say that you were here. You were in the moment. Let's stick it everywhere. Being part of it. Yes, you were. All 19 of you. God bless you. Right, come on. Let's go. Did that. So that's everything on that side of the board. Now turn it around and look at the solder joints. Oh yeah, no, those are fine. Those are fine. Jack sockets and solder them. So, not messing about. Getting right in with the jack sockets. Go in there. Stick that front leg in. And then it gives you just enough resistance to stick the others in nice and smartly. Now I would normally put the faceplate on in order to make sure those are all level. Moritz doesn't seem to care about that too much. He does that more with the pots. So we are just going to turn it over, and then that's all going to tip over, isn't it? So I need to put something else in that sandwich so that they don't. That's not quite enough. I've got another bit, but that's too much then, isn't it? What? Oh yeah. Does that make it? Genius. Absolute genius. Go with that. So you can see that as I'm starting to take little shortcuts, the whole thing's going to go wrong. So I'm just doing the end of each one. I'm just going to check that those are flat. Yes, they are. What a brilliant job. Sorted that. No bother. So let's solder the rest of those bits in. I will just keep it upright. A bit like that. Give me something to press against. Making a right pig's ear of that one. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, good. They all look flat. Lovely. Jack sockets done. Now the pots. There's one different pot which is over there. These are the other 5. Make sure you have the right values. The rate is 250. The rest are 100. But don't solder them yet. So where does the rate go? 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. The rate one is over here. So this, from my board here, is the rate one. They're all sticking up in the wrong way. Bend it down. Rate is over here. And the rest of these are going to be the steps. Lovely. So now it wants us to stick the front panel on just to make sure that those pots stay properly aligned, because if they waver a little bit it's going to make it impossible to get the front panel on. But you could also say for the, it's all a bit lopsided until I get these gate things on over here. Put a few nuts on. That should pull it tight, hopefully, and keep those pots where they need to be. Good. Solder the pots. Okay. Now, the rest are tricky. Because I've all got this diode in the way. So I'll spin it round. See if that helps. And actually with the rate one, it's really tricky in here. Don't want to melt any of the plastic. Cool, right, so this way round, again trying to avoid the plastic. Didn't look like it took. Oh, honestly. Anyway, I think those are all right. They've got enough in there to do the business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rate knob is done. That's terrible. That's not very good. Stick a bit more in there. Ah, enough. Let's see, I did just tweak the end side of that one, so yeah. That's what you get. So good, pot's done. Next, switches. Special attention, there are two nuts for the switch, look identical, but the thread is different. Okay, so let's get all my nuts together. Can you spot which ones? So if I remember rightly, some had a different sort of edge. Yeah, a more curvy edge, which were the patch socket ones, and the flatter edge was for the pots. And there should be a lot more of those. There should only be five of the slightly thinner ones. See, now I don't know because those all look the same to me, whereas these ones definitely look flatter. Yeah. So I would say that's different. Different. Ah, that's one of those. Different. That's one of those. Yeah, so that's how it should be. Difficult to explain, but one of them is slightly curvier on each of the sides and slightly thinner than this, and that's what I'm going on. So all of these, screw on one of the nuts until it fixes itself to the bottom on all of these. Right. So that's 9:30, eh? Crazy. Well, I reckon we're half an hour away, I would say. A little bit of soldering of these front bits on, the LEDs, and we're pretty much there. A little bit of testing, hopefully no troubleshooting, and the job's a good one. With a bit of luck, I can get on to making a quick video about my friend over there. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So where's the different one? That's 1, 2. 2, 2, this one. No. Oh, one was a three-way switch. What have I done? What's going on? Anyway, now insert the switches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is a step count one. Solder the switches. So one of these is different. One of them is different. That's definitely a regular one. Right, these are going to be tricky to stay in, aren't they? That's definitely a regular one. Yeah. But they're all the same. What have I missed here? I definitely had one that was different before, a three-way switch, did I not? Because it needs to have step count, but that needs to be what? What's going on? Something is wrong or different. Step count one must be different, mustn't it? Didn't I do this already? Yeah, it's a big square one. Very different. Ah, right, okay. I think, sadly, I have a wrong thing. No, I don't. I found it. Cool. Bloomin' heck. Found it. Found it. Found it, I did. Right. Found it. Moment there. So I seem to have an extra one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's a CV range one, which is down here. Okay. So that goes there. No. Yeah, no, it's supposed to go. Cool, that's not going in very well. This one goes down over here. Just look at this. Well, I mean, I guess that's just how it goes in. Right, I've got to somehow magic the front panel on now. With all of these falling over. Is this the right way around? Yeah, so look at that, it went on. Flipping went on. So they're all steadied by the front panel. They're all, I think, in the right place. So LEDs, don't want to get to that yet. Put in the switches. There was nothing about anything being the wrong way around. Solder the switches. Okay. Okay, it's getting a little bit cold in here now. Just going to shut the door. Where am I? All the way down this side. On the home stretch. Okay, tricky getting into here. Ah, just melted on the side. Melted onto the side of the trimmer. Get into this one. One more. Yes. Did I do the 6? Yes, I did. I think that's all good. Good. Insert the LEDs. So I need to take the front panel off again then. Okay. LEDs, they're all over there. They all go in alongside these pots. Long leg positive into the square hole. You've got a little slice on the circle hole which corresponds to the flattened front on the LED, which gives you your cathode or your negative. So long leg positive, long leg goes into the square hole. And just put them in for the minute. Long leg, square hole, flat bit there. Good. Okay, so they all go in. Put the front panel, and we're almost done. Put the sockets in. Okay, so this should be the last time. Hopefully, taking the front panel on and off. So it suggests putting one on here. This has to be it, doesn't it? It is just a standard shirt, I promise you. Okay, so that's on. Good. So we turn it over and see if we can get them all. They just all went in the holes. Well, that's just brilliant. Let's do that. Solder them while they're good. Did that actually happen? It did. They all just went straight in the hole. Super. How am I going to get to them? That's always tricky. Really small pads on these. That one's out. Good job I noticed. No, that did not go on. I'm going to bridge that if I'm not careful. Come in from here. Yep, that's better. How am I going to get into there? I cannot see. That failed. Got a lot of solder on the end of my thing though. And I'm melting my transistor. How can I get to it? Okay, I've pushed the transistor and I might have broken it. I might have broken it. Heck and all. I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's testing time, so we're going to have to see. Those are really, really tight. Because of all these upright resistors, they make it really difficult to access. Oh, I almost cut the leg off a resistor. I can't even get to that to cut it. Just going to have to hope that's not going to short. Right, good. Getting to the point of what's it now. So it says put in the chips and then you're done. Okay, so the chips are here. 1, 2, 4107. Make sure you get it the right way round. You're seeing this here. So I've got the little nick out the front. That corresponds with the nick out the front of the IC holder. Sit it on top, give it a squeeze. I've already pre-squished my legs in my leg squishing tool because it's been in the breadboard. I know that's going to go in sweet. So that should be it. Now, if I put all the nuts on and then it doesn't work, maybe that wouldn't be too clever. So I'm not going to put all the nuts on quite yet. Let's plug it into the thing and just see where it gets us. Yeah. So, whew, are we doing all right? Whew. Intense, I think, would be the word. So we think that's probably going to go there. And what goes in between? Or does it go over here? Oh, even better. I think it should go there. Definitely think it should go there. That's there. Yeah, that's definitely where it's going to go. It's a little bit not quite fitting. I might have to give this this one a little. Where's me? Okay. Just have to give this an inch. I'll throw the switch soon enough. Soon enough. Let's just get 1 or 2 screws in. Oh, hang on, wait, stand by. I haven't plugged the power in. Power, where are you? Here you go. See, I would have been standing there looking at it going, well, I don't know, it's not turning on. It's because you haven't stuck the bleeding power in, you dipstick. So let's just move that out of the way. How can I even exist with this sort of nonsense? Is that in? I think that's in. Stick my tongue on it, that'll soon tell me. Oh, I think that's in. This can only go one way around, which is that way around. Into the power socket. Yeah, that way up. Oops, 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 oops. Squeeze it in. What did I do with me knurly? Pretty sure I had an early on me. What did I do with it? Oh, it's there. Alright, that's not all the way there, but that's good enough for the minute. Power. Somebody pass me the power. This one. So go in there. And 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is flipping genius. Right, let me get this slightly better under the overhead, so you can see. I'll pull that back like that. Back to this one. Okay, look at that. That seems to be doing something, don't it? It seems to be doing something. So, it has its own clock, which is cool. We want the sequence to sequence stuff. So, I'm going to take the CV out, CV range, CV out, that clock in, clock out, reset, gate out, CV out. Yeah, CV out is going to go into 1 volt per octave. Tighten that up. Now that I'm feeling a bit more confident. It's right in the way, hang on. We just about fit everything on screen, doesn't really matter. Turn that off loop. So to gate that, I'm going to need a cable that goes out from the gate out, CV gate out to gate in. I'd really like to see a light over there. There we go. Ooh, I had the attack all the way up. All right, that's looking good. Okay, so that's out. That's going to CV in on that. So then I just need the out of that to go to something that we can hear. Are we ready? Kevin, you're probably right. I've never known what size of knurlies I've had. They've just always worked. But these are self-tapping their way through well enough. As far as I can say, I can tell, I can see, or something. So, is this all the way down? Okay. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. I think you'll find that's pretty cool. Brilliant. So, other things to test. The reset. I need to press against something sort of metally. What do I need to press it against? What did I press it against last time that worked so well? No, that's not going to do it for me. Oh, I can get this loop. Would that work? No. Not quite sure how to give it a reset, because it just needs to be high, doesn't it? A high gate. It does something if you give it enough power. Okay, so clock out. I could put into there to see whether that tests that. This one here. That seems to be. And then for a clock in, I can take the out of the looping what's it. There, it all works. It all flipping works. Just needs a filter. Yeah, well, let's hope that the filter is the next thing. Although, having said that, there's no malt. So I wouldn't be able to send the gate to both envelopes. There's no gate through. But is there a malt in the system? I don't know. Let's just have a quick look. Is there a picture of the whole thing? So we've got a sequence of VCO. Okay, a full wave folder goes in here. Then the filter, then we've got the dual VCA, then an SLH and noise goes in here, envelope, envelope, mixer, and something else. Unless there's another one of those. Another picture. No, gone too far back now, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, I don't know whether there will be a malt or a way of splitting that out. Maybe we just have to use a splitting cable or you know, one of these type things. Maybe that's the solution. But anyway, so there we go. Let's put it back on here. Hello. So good. We did it. And it is 10 o'clock. I think it's too late for me to go off and do my other video now. I'll have to do that in the morning. So I think I have to come back in the morning and go, right, let's drum up the energy to do something on something I was excited about yesterday. By the by. So there we go. We got to the end of the sequencer. It worked. Brilliant. It was a good, solid, what, 2.5 hour build. You know, that's about right for a module, and not too bad. Trying to remember if there's any real struggles. No, I mean, some of those upright resistors tend to get in the way quite quickly, and as somebody said earlier, if you were to make them slightly neater, then perhaps they wouldn't get in the way quite so much. So that's a thing. Otherwise, the two trimmers were slightly different, and there was an extra transistor in there that's not in the manual. So It's in the build list, it's in the kit list, but it's not actually on the photograph of the PCB. But other than that, it was pretty much there, and now we've got a little sequencer to run our system, and it's just looking great, isn't it? Looking great. It's just super it is. Look at that. Oh, so that needs to be in there in order for it to work. Let's turn that loop off. Gate out. Put the rest of the nuts on here, that's what I need to do, which is why it is a bit wobbly in places. Great, I will do that. I'll bid you good night. Thanks very much for spending some time with me this evening. Obviously it's Super Booth next week. I'm not sure what the next one out is going to be. They've just done the VCF, haven't they? So envelope, sequencer. I thought I saw Moritz doing a mixer, a tutorial on a mixer, so it's possible the mixer might be next. Otherwise, the filter is probably likely, yeah, because that would just make the whole system kind of come together, which would be cool. But we'll wait and see, and obviously I'll wait for a week or so after it's been released for the people to get hold of it, and then we can build through it together, as we have done so far. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're halfway through, I think. Halfway to a complete modular system. Awesome. Great. Good. I won't keep you then. Thanks very much for that. Take care. See you soon. In the meantime, go and make some tunes. Don't think I've got anything else to say that's interesting or fascinating. So I will leave you with that. Thanks very much. Thanks, Ken. I'll get these bleeding nuts on now.